As a teenager I loved Heavy Rain. For someone who still had to worry about midterm exams, Heavy Rain's narrative seemed adult, profound and brave. A story that had not yet been investigated in the video game medium. Heavy Rain was kind of revolutionary. Quantic Dream work axis selection and character drama in the future will inspire successful and great games such as Telltale's The Walking Dead and The Last of Us. Despite all the innovations, Heavy Rain was childish as you think. Its characters were all boring stereotypes we've seen many times in other mediums. Whether it's the character of a grieving father, an FBI agent over a moral dilemma, or a reporter who doesn't hesitate to do anything to get to his story. Heavy Rain was also full of fictional holes and funny dialogues that to date have been used as an internet meme. The game's efforts to create dramatic moments ultimately lead to the creation of sequences that, at best, are unintentionally humorous and at worst lack the sensitivities necessary to address the subject. The dialogue between Ethan Mars and Madison Page under Heavy Rain in Rain is gutsily disgusting. Unfortunately, that sequence is not an exception for the Quantic Dream and David Cage, and they have repeatedly continued to make up their own traumatic and childish stories after Heavy Rain's success. Games that use stunning visual effects and cinematic directing are trying to instill an adult mood to the audience, unaware that the core of the game is much more corrupt than this. Simply because a game is touted as a blockbuster with prestige, it should not be dealt with in this way. Quantic Dream quantification seems stuck in the past and cannot make games that have the ingredients to become a lasting effect. Let's hope that Star Wars IP won't be left to them. Beyond Two Souls once again exposed its central character to unpleasant events. All of this happened under the pretext of personality development and narrative development. That game became a remarkable commercial success thanks to the use of famous actors and Sony's advertising campaign. But its drop in reviews and meta was also significant. It was around Beyond that the problems of the Quantic Dream formula were more than previously identified. The story of the game was clumsy and disintegrating. Because the main focus of the manufacturer was more on the end of the look. While Beyond Two Souls had ambitious goals, Detroit Become Human once again considered simplicity and a return to the core of its old studio maker formula. That game was not afraid to slam your central themes on your head. Like other Quantic Dream games, there's no delicacy in paying for basic topics. Many scenes have different outputs, so the narrative of the game can seem discreet once again. David Cage has repeatedly insisted that he did not try to rebuild American civil rights movements with Detroit, but during the game we see a quote from Martin Luther King himself. Even in a sequence of androids, they are forced to sit on the backside of the bus, which is precisely a reconstruction of America's treatment of blacks during the Jim Crow era. Constructive denial is more like cowardice. Of course, this problem is not exclusive to the Quantic Dream and its games. Video games in the modern age rarely have elegance. God of War and The Last of Us are introspective stories about masculinity and fatherhood. Clearly, the oldest directors of those two games have had an impact on the making of these games, and the emphasis on the importance of avoiding frivolous violence and taking responsibility is a message that both games insist on. In addition to delivering a clear message, the two games attempt to push the video game medium forward. Detroit and androids are so similar to humans that the game's contention seems meaningless. Remember the sequence of chasing two androids in the role of Connor in a dark alley. It is the ultimate of Quantic Dream understanding of an adult narrative. Connor's character is one of the few positive points of that game. Android, which is designed to cooperate with the police force and investigate crime scenes. His personality arc is excellent, and watching him become a commanding android to a single character and confronting the unfair legal system is extremely engaging. Yet the rounds of this character are so filled with nonsense and pointless characters that the game never reaches its full potential. What if the whole game was about Connor's character and instead seeing a more detailed process? Violence and injustice are palpable social problems, and in the world of video games there is room for a work to scrutiny. Playing as an android that has more humanity than the entire legal system of its creator is a great idea. But the truth of the matter is that the Quantic Dream studio is not doing this. The ingredients of a wonderful game are present in the studio's works. But Quantic Dream has proved many times that Michael without world of video games. Connor understands that he can look at himself as a human being, but still continues to serve a system that looks at him as a device. For a title that's about tackling difficulties, Detroit has a keen interest in knocking down its characters. I seem to be terrified of becoming more inclusive of Quantic Dream formula in storytelling. Good commercial performance can make more studios trust Quantic Dream with their IPs. However, The studio has repeatedly shown that it does not treat its characters with the necessary respect, and in its stories, it is not interested in carefully examining heavy themes. Finally, I hope that in addition to Star Wars, any other big IP will not be achieved by this studio.